because in Luxembourg is very, very small, and we don't really need a racetrack because motorsports in Luxembourg, it's not so popular than in other countries.
And you're well served there. You know, it's 2 hours up here to the Hockenheim ring. You're an hour and a half away probably from the Nürburgring. Spa-Francorchamps is an hour and a half away. You've got some wonderful, iconic circuits just around you.
That's right. We have very great tracks around Luxembourg, and I say 2 hours and 1.5 hours to the biggest tracks in Europe. It's great.
As we're here at the Hockenheim ring, this small little town really has had an enormously long association with motorsport. We can see the grid there. It's being cleared now, so we'll guide you through the grid and pick out the colours that are there. So pole position is on the right-hand side of your screen. So at the very front of the grid, on the right-hand side, it is the yellow car with its black livery. That's one of the Cal Racing cars, which is exactly the same team as Gilles Linster races for. That is the reigning champion, the Cal Racing Chevy of Alan Day. And alongside him, it's number 50, which is Loris Hazemans, who is racing the Hendricks Motorsport Ford. That's the black car, and you can just about pick out the red, white and the blue Dutch flag across the roof of it. Row 2 of the grid, it's another Cal Racing car. It is the very rapid Spaniard. We only saw him out at Valencia earlier on this year. He's been a regular in the championship, but not this year. Great race yesterday, great lap time that he put in that sets the grid for today's race. It's the number 56 Cal Racing Chevy of the Spaniard Salvador Tinio Arroyo, but you'll notice there's a gap alongside him where we should have had the Brax Racing number 91 Chevy of Mark Goosens. Now, Mark has not been well this weekend. He's had a terrible fever. He raced yesterday and finished on the podium. He said to me earlier on that as he'd sweated whilst he was racing, it probably actually sweated the fever out. But that's not the reason the car's not there, Gilles. He was involved in your race. Tom Bonham was driving, and that's caused some damage to the car. So a sad end to the weekend for the number 91 car.
As I said, I saw it in the mirror, the crash behind me, and yeah, I was not sure who was involved, but yeah, it was the car of Mark Goosens.
I was talking to Rudy, who's the chief engineer for Brax Racing, and they said, you know, the car is beyond repair here at the circuit. They're going to take it back to the workshop and inspect it properly to see actually whether the car's repairable or whether it's damaged the chassis, and that could mean that they have to really work on that car and get a new chassis and ready for the finals that will take place at Zolder. The grid is now being cleared, so let's continue down through the grid. The rear shot gives us a better indication as to the colours. Row 3 of the grid, that is the Racers Motorsport Ford, car number 9, a former Elite 2 champion, Gianmarco Ercoli. We saw him claim a win earlier on this season. That was at Brands Hatch. He's the first driver in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series history to have stepped up from the Elite 2 championship into the Elite 1 championship and have won a race as well. So he's a driver to watch out for. And alongside him, it is the RDV competition Toyota Camry, number 3, the white and black car. It's sort of half white, half black. The front end shot doesn't really allow us to pick out the colours of the cars. But Fred Gabion is going to be a man who will be hoping that he can hang on to the championship lead. He has just a 26-point lead at the wheel of that white and black car with the T-Pack livery down the side of it on the left-hand side of your screens. He sits there on the 3rd row. Row 4 of the grid, it's the light blue car, but with the all-white back end now, such has been the repairs to bodywork that have been done on that car for this race by the look of things. It's number 33, the Mitsubishi Motors Chevy of double former champion Luca Lasserre, who claimed this championship back in 2009 and 2010. And then it's the black car, but with the gold bumpers, which is the Belgium Racing Driver Academy, the Chevy in the hands of the Czech driver, Martin Dubeck. That's the 4th row of the grid. Row 5 of the grid, it's number 77. We saw that car claim a win earlier on in the hands of Guillaume de Flandre in the Elite 2 race. It's the Swedish driver for Memphis Racing that's on board the Chevy in this one, Alexander Graf. And alongside him, it is the largely black car, but you can just see the light blue flash across the rear of it. That is number 73, the Knauf Racing Ford of Wilfried Busenna, another former champion. Wilfried Busenna, but that was in the Elite 2 Championship back in 2009. The 6th row of the grid for Mitsubishi Motors, it's the largely white and light blue Chevy that you can see there on the right-hand side of your screens. That is the hugely experienced driver, Dominic Farnbacher, who did this equivalent race last year in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series, but it's the only race in which he's competed in this championship this year. But to say he's experienced is a bit of an understatement. He's a multiple winner of the Nürburgring 24-hour. We've seen him race at Le Mans, in the European Le Mans Series, and in the World Endurance Championship as well. So largely associated with sports cars. Let's see how he goes here in the second race of the weekend. And alongside him, That is where we see the number 32 Go Fast Racing Ford in the hands of Roman Iniesta. That's the black car, and you might just be able to pick out, it says Can-Am across the rear of it. We'll get you to the next row of the grid. It's the blue car, but with the red flashes to it. British driver who had problems in yesterday's race with the front suspension on that car. It's the number 90 Brax Racing Chevy in the hands of Alex Sedgwick, and the light green car with the black livery on it as well, and Yakko supported. That is the 2000 Monster Energy NASCAR champion Bobby Labonte at the wheel of his RDV competition Toyota Camry. So that gives you the first few rows of the grid. The safety car is about to head out very shortly onto the warming lap, and I'm going to ask you, Gilles, the same question as I've asked every other driver. You've got the experience now, but when you're sitting on the grid on the build-up to a race, do you get nervous?
No, that's still too late to be nervous. Then you're in the car, and then you just want to go and to drive.
And absolutely, once the engine starts, that's when you tend to sort of forget about everything. I did see, now, was there another gap on the grid there? There is. Bert Longines, I don't think, has made it out. The number 24 PK Car Sport car in the hands of Bert Longines has not made it out. However, it looks as though his son is going to be on the grid, which is Stinis Longines, who is on the 8th row of the grid. So off they go onto their warming up lap, and as is usually the case, lots of weaving to try and build some temperature into the tyres, on and off the brakes as well. Are these ideal racing conditions, Gilles? It's warm, but it's not too warm, and there's no breeze at all. Is that what you want as a driver?
Yes, that's great. For sure, there are also drivers who want to race in the rain, but this temperature it's great to race.
Perfect. But over the course of a 17-lap race and 63 kilometres, with your fireproof overalls on, your balaclava, your crash helmets, all of the heat soak that comes from the engine and the gearbox, it's not a nice place to be. It's a warm place to be, the cockpit.
It's a very warm place to be, yes.
So do you keep track of how many calories you burn and your heart rate whilst you're driving?
No, really not. I don't care about it, but I don't look it because yeah, I just want to race.
You'd be surprised if you do look it. You'd be surprised how many calories you would burn. I guarantee that with you. I guarantee that. We'll get him to do that. We're going to put a chest band on and maybe a smartwatch or something, and then we can maybe upload some data and some stats or something next year, just to give you an idea as to how physical it is for these drivers. It'd be interesting to see if we use the same driver. It gives us a benchmark at different circuits. So we might try that in 2019. There's an idea that Gianluca can make a note of. So weaving from side to side, gives him another job to do. He's got none, you know. Weaving from side to side to build these last little bits of temperature in these tyres, which do take a bit of a pounding around the circuit. We've spoken to most of the drivers, and it's a circuit they like because it's got fast sections, it's got slow sections, it's got technical sections, and it's got nice straights as well.
Yes, right. For me too, I love this track. It's a very fast track. And you have so many corners, so many different corners to work on it, and it's for me the greatest track on the championship.
They're getting themselves into neat 2x2 order now. Where's the best overtaking opportunities, do you think, Gilles, on this one? You can give your secrets away now because you're not racing anymore.
I think on the braking zone of the third corner, there you can go inside, and then if you are inside, normally you stay also inside to come back on the long straight.
Right, okay, yep, so that's sort of up towards, is it Bernie Eccleston curve?
Yes, right.
Yep, Bernie Eccleston curve, which is sort of
inside.
Turn 2, sort of into turn 3, and then down the long straight in towards the double apex right-hander, as it is, because we're on the national circuit, which is 3.7 kilometres long. That's about 2.3 miles, give or take a bit, rather than the full Grand Prix configuration, which is the best part, almost 3 miles long. So neat 2x2 order. They're already out of Sachskurve and starting to head up to Sudkurve, which is the final corner here, and we're about to get this final race of the weekend underway. Nose to tail, door handle to door handle, with the car to the side of them, of course, the gap being left sensibly so by Fred Gabion at the wheel of the black and white Toyota. He can't close that gap up where Mark Goossens should have been on the grid, so he's got to hold station and leave that gap the row ahead of him. Lights are on the gantry. 17 laps showing also over on the left-hand side of your screens. The yellow car on pole position is Alan Day. You've got Loris Hazeman's yesterday's race winner alongside the reigning champion. Lights go green. Round 10 of the championship is underway, and it looks as though it's a good start from Alan Day, the reigning champion, from pole position. Salvador Tinio-Arai looking for the inside line, but Loris Hazeman's is not going to allow him to squeeze his way through. Is he going to be able to get himself alongside on the run up towards Bernie Eccleston curve? It looks not. So they've all held station. They're all safe safely through the first corner without incident by the look of things in this one. Onto the brakes and up towards Bernie Eccleston curve. There's a little bit of just bumping and boring and rubbing, but that looks as though everybody again is safely through Bernie Eccleston curve, and now they really open up the taps and squeeze the throttle up through the gears, up to fourth gear, down the long straight and in towards, as Gilles Linster was saying, one of the best overtaking opportunities here. Onto the brakes, into the double apex right-hander. They'll turn their way through, but it is going to be Alan Day that leads in the early stages of this one, from Loris Hazeman's in second place and Salvador Tinio Arroyo. I've been hugely impressed with him, Gilles Linster, your teammate, on his return to the championship.
Unbelievably great. He made 2 races. He came to Valencia, a great performance, and then he came to Hockenheim. He's staying 3rd position now. It's a cooler, great, and a very fast guy.
Yeah, very much so, yeah. He's got a race winner from yesterday ahead of him and the reigning champion ahead of him, but he's got the current championship leader, Fred Gabillon, sitting behind him. There goes the number 12 Solaris Motorsport car of Francisco Cini. He's having a great little fight with the number 37 machine, which in this race is in the hands of Tomo Ferrando. Tomo Ferrando, who will be away racing next weekend in the K&M Pro Series East at New Hampshire, just next weekend. Now that's where we see a busy on-track weekend for the NASCAR family, with Mexico and Canada and the K&N East all in action as well. So keep an eye towards what's going on in New Hampshire next weekend, where Tomo Ferrando heads out there as a result of the prize for winning this Elite 2 championship last year. Up towards the conclusion of the first lap of racing, Alan Day leads by a couple of tenths of a second from Loris Hazeman's, as you can see down in the bottom corner of your screen, but Salvador Tinio Arroyo is still with them at the moment. The top 3, Fred Gabillon was just a little bit further away at the end of the lap, but is looking to try and join in on the fun as well. But Alan Day looking to try and press on. He qualified on pole last year. He set the fastest lap last year in the races, but he didn't claim a win last year. And you know Alan Day as well as I do, because he is, again, one of your teammates with Cal Racing. He is a driver who wants to win every race if he possibly can.
Every race, he closed every gap, and like yesterday too, he won 2 races. 2nd place, it's not enough for him.
Yeah, as we saw on the highlights from yesterday, yeah, the final corner almost, he thought the move was on, looked to try and get up the inside of Loris Hazeman's, locked the brakes in avoidance of any contact, and that very sadly caused the spin for Alan Day, and it took him a while to restart the car. So from second, looking for the lead, by the time he'd restarted it, he finished in 15th position, which, when it's double points this weekend, don't forget, 80 points for a race win rather than the 40, that put a big dent in his championship. And understandably, after the race yesterday, he just didn't want to talk to us, so I grabbed a word with him this morning, and he said, my fault, I just ran out of talent, I just tried something and made a mistake. And if he could hit pause and hit rewind, he would stick for second, wouldn't he?
For sure.
You can't do that as a racing driver, so the only thing he can do is forget about that, make up for it today, and that's exactly what he's doing, Gilles. Out there, pressing on, leading the race, and of course, he needs to try and make sure that he keeps his main championship rivals behind him, and he's doing that at the moment, because Luca Lasser is running in 5th place. Luca lies 2nd in the championship standings coming into this race, and then we've got Fred Gabillon further behind. Something's gone off, hasn't it, at turn number 1? Lots and lots, and lots of debris.
A lot of pieces.
But no car, rather worrying. So that's why we can see the yellow and red striped flags right now. There is a possibility,
this,
right?
Yes.
I have a feeling that Dario Carzo might have had an off somewhere, and yes, if ever there was a suggestion, as we think we know who it is, that's probably a good idea. Now, does it look as though there's any damage? That looks as though it's more just the fiberglass bodywork that's come away.
It's good. It's good. It's hot outside, so the engine will cool down and get a little break.
Engine will cool nicely. It gives us a good opportunity to see the underneath of the skin of one of these Euro NASCARs as well. But whether the officials have a look at that, that's up for them to decide as to whether that flapping and dragging bodywork is maybe a cause for safety. If it is, they'll think about it. Right, okay, now there's also a rear bodywork missing off the number 51 as well, I just spotted there, which is Didier Beck. So possibility that 2 cars might have got together. We can't confirm that, but that maybe is why we've got lots and lots of bodywork. It wasn't just at the exit of turn number 1. I spotted some that was on the left going down in towards the hairpin.
Right.
So over the start-finish line, another lap completed. This is 3 laps that's about to be completed. Alan Day leads. He was leading by 0.4 of a second. That's come down to 0.2 of a second. It's been halved because Loris Hazeman's has just posted the fastest lap of the race that we've seen so far, 1 minute 34.626. So the Dutchman is charging, and these two are pushing each other along, with Salvador Tinio Arroyo not too far behind. Don't forget, we've got racing within this race as well, because we've got the junior trophy competitors to worry about. That is Loris Hasemans, who's second in the race. He's the leading junior category driver, and if you're wondering what a junior category driver is, then it's drivers aged under 25 at the beginning of the season that race in this Elite One Championship. But he's only just leading it. The car behind him, number 56, Salvador Tinio Arroyo, is also eligible for the junior trophy, and also the Challenger trophy exists in this one. That is for bronze and silver graded drivers that enter the Elite One Championship. The leading Challenger driver we have is the Japanese driver Kenko Miura for Alex Caffey Racing in the Toyota, down in 17th position, the number 2 car. So it's 3 for the lead. Fred Gabion in 4th place. If you're Fred at the moment, you're leading the championship. It's double points. Do you just sit back, which is what he appears to be doing?
He will stay just back and look and close the gap for sure, but I don't think that he will do something stupid now to close this gap directly. So yeah, he will stay on the 4th position and look what happened in front.
Yeah, and if they start to slow each other up, he'll gain, but equally if they trip over each other, he's far enough back so as to work his way around any incident that could possibly happen. So another lap is about to be ticked into the book. This is lap number 4 that's about to be completed. The gap that was 0.2 of a second remains at 0.2 of a second, but this time the fastest lap of the race has gone the way of Salvador Tinio Arroyo. So the top 3 cars are separated by just over 3/4 of a second. Confirmation has also just been received that the rather bodywork-less car of Dario Carzo is being called into the pit lane. I'm not surprised, because there were lots of bits of bodywork flapping, Gilles. Sensible decision, I think, there.
Yes, right. It's right, and it's dangerous when you stay behind and you have pieces of the car who will fly around. It's always dangerous.
And thankfully our marshals got a gap in the traffic which allowed them to get out there, remove some of the debris, which has prevented a safety car coming out as well. So well done to the marshals for sorting that one. Looked as though Loris Hasemans had got a bit of a run on Alan Day there, so Alan Day just needed to move over to the right hand side of the circuit in towards the double apex right hand hairpin to protect that inside line. Loris Hasemans pushing on. Both of them will be conscious though that it is double points. Salvador Tinio Arroyo having a great run in 3rd place, and again you can see Alan Day just having to move the car so as to defend from Loris Hasemans, who is looking very, very racy here. They both run over the curbs, but no more. Loris Hasemans brakes as late as he can. Again, Alan Day protecting the inside line. Good driving from both, but they're holding each other up. Salvador Tinio Arroyo isn't involved in the championship, but he would love to have a win, surely.
It's a racer. He will race. He will try everything to gain positions, and now it's a good chance to stay inside for the first corner.
Yeah, Loris Hasemans struggling for grip there, wasn't he? Running very wide through a couple of corners there. And can we see the Cal Racing number 56 car sneak up the inside at turn number 1? He's got the run at Ravenel Curve and it goes through. Yeah, it's a Cal 1-2. Great driving again. Hasemans just doesn't seem to be able to get the car turned into the corners.
Yes, great move.
So great move from Salvador Tinio Arroyo. We have seen him secure victory in the Elite 2 Championship. He's had a couple of wins in the Elite 2 Championship, but he's not had a win in Elite 1 as yet. He's got his teammate ahead of him, but as much as he will want to win, I would imagine that the Cal team will be on the radio here and say, look, just see if you can back up Loris Hasemans a little bit, give Alan Day the gap, and that then strengthens his run in the championship. It's a team game, isn't it?
For sure. And if you have the chance to work now like this, Alan can run and try to open a gap. And Tinio, he will go.
And that's exactly what he seems to be doing at the moment. Loris Hasemans having dropped down into 3rd place. He's going to be backed up by the number 56 Cal Racing Chevy in the hands of the Spanish driver Salvador Tinio Arroyo, who of course as a result of taking that place away from Loris Hasemans has also now gone to the top of the categorization for the junior drivers as well. So he's leading his class at the moment and going to head towards the top step of the podium if he hangs on to it for the junior category for the drivers aged under 25 years of age at the beginning of the season. Now through the small kink, through the left, through the right, up towards Sudkurva they will come. This is lap number 6 that is about to be completed. They don't seem to be holding each other up too much though, because Fred Gabion is still doing what we said. He's just making sure that he's there or thereabouts, not too far away, but finishing in 4th place is exactly what he wants. He would still secure 66 championship points for 4th place this weekend.
Yes.
And more importantly for Fred, Luca Lasserre, who's 2nd in the championship, is behind him. So that's important. Here comes Loris Hasemans back on the inside of Salvador Tinio Arroyo. So the positions have swapped once more, not just for 2nd, but for the lead of the junior category. So the Dutchman goes back through and ahead of the Spaniard. So we've got, 4 different nationalities inside the top 4, in fact 5, 6 inside the top 6, haven't we? We've got the Israeli leading, the Dutchman 2nd, the Spaniard 3rd, Frenchman in 4th place. Oh, it's another Frenchman, is it? Luca Lasserre that's there in 5th place. And then the Swedish driver, Alexander Graf for Memphis Racing, completing the top 6. Last lap for Alan Day, now that he's been released from the grasp of those behind, posted the fastest lap of the race, 1 minute 33.873. So he's doing what he needs to do, build that gap a little bit, and then once you've built the advantage, you can control that advantage.
For sure, yes. And now he will see on the spot. I will tell him also that he have no pressure from behind, so he can just go and do one fast lap after another.
One thing he needs to be conscious of, though, it's not his teammate now that is acting as the buffer behind. It's now Loris Hazemans again who's back through into second, and Loris is absolutely going to charge. He moved up from 7th to 4th in the championship standings, strengthened his stranglehold at the lead of the junior category as well. He's jointly on points with Alan Day coming into this race as well, both of them on 272 points. So they will want to see what they might be able to do for each other. New fastest lap of the race, guess who? Loris Hazemans in second place, trying to see what he might be able to do. Side by side further back, Roman Iniesta looking to try and hang on to the position, trying to dive his way through up the inside, but it didn't quite work, was Wilfried Busenna. So they both avoid each other, so good little fight going on, and they're still going to be together, I think, as they head up towards the braking area for Bernie Eccleston-Curver. Further down through the order, it looks like Bobby Labonte is trying to sneak his way up the inside of former Elite 2 champion, which is going to be Tomo Ferrando, and right behind them also is the blue car with the red, and now also the Dayglow yellow flashes to the front of it, which wasn't what I was expecting. That was why I paused for a split second. That's Alex Sedgwick, who's had some great wheel-to-wheel racing with Bobby Labonte so far this season, but it's still just the American head of the British driver at the wheel of the number 90 car. It's great to see Bobby in the championship, isn't it?
For sure. Bobby, it's a legend, and to have him in the championship, it's unbelievable. Also for the European NASCAR, great to have him in the championship.
And he's a nice guy as well. He's a lovely, genuine guy, is Bobby. The first driver to win the Busch Series, then step up to the main Monster Energy Series as it was in 2000, and secure the championship victory there as well. So he's a great addition to the NASCAR Euro Series. And I know this weekend he's been thinking a lot about what's going on at home as well in North and South Carolina, and wishes everybody, all of his friends over there, as do we, all the very best for what is an awful set of weather circumstances that are there. So yeah, just to buckle up, everybody, and stay safe. That's what we wish for everybody out there in North and South Carolina. So this is great little fight that is going on. Alex Sedgwick is in 15th position, but at the front of the train is Roman Iniesta by the look of things. So this is 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th and 15th places. 9 cars nose to tail.
Great.
And this is what it's about, isn't it? You know, we see some great battles, but again, Bobby Labonte looking to see whether there's anything on there, but I think Tomo Ferrando will have that one covered off. Was there a move there as Gianmarco Ercoli swept up the inside of Dominic Farnbacher? I think there was. Yeah, that's a change for 10th position there. The number 9 car, the orange and black car of Gianmarco Ercoli, gaining a place over the non-championship runner for this weekend, Dominic Farnbacher. He's not eligible to score points. He could finish on the podium if he were to finish inside the top 3, but he's not going to score points. And Farnbacher, having lost 1 place, is in danger of losing another by the look of things. He runs very, very, very wide, almost side by side now, coming up towards the Mercedes Tribune, and that is going to be Stinis Longines, who now also needs to close the door on the number 37 car of Tomo Ferrando. Then the green and black car is Bobby Labonte, and Alex Sedgwick is at the back of the train. So great fighting, very close, but very fair as well, Gilles.
Very fair, yeah, for sure. There's a little contact, and Stinis do everything to defend his place.
Just the slightest of touches between Stinis Longines and Tomo Ferrando. And Roman Iniesta's off. I heard a squeal of tyres and off and into the gravel trap. That is at Saxkurve, where Roman Iniesta has locked a brake, snatched a brake, and gone into the gravel trap there. Now, the car is sort of, I would guess, not in a great place there, because at Saxkurve, most cars tend to sort of go straight on, don't they? Snatch the brake and go straight on.
Yes.
So we'll wait and see as to whether that is going to be covered under localised yellows or whether we might need something else. One thing I can also tell you, whilst we're concentrating on this battle, Loris Hazemans has been putting in fastest laps and fastest laps and fastest laps. And here he is now, right back on to the boot lid of the number 54 Cal Racing car in the hands of Alan Day. So Alan Day thought when he'd got Salvador Tineo Arroyo acting behind him as a buffer that he could ease things up a little bit once he'd broken the gap, but Loris Hazemans is pushing. He'd be desperate to try and score his 2nd win here. Of course, Alan Day needs to try and make amends for the problems that befell him yesterday. So the fight, Gilles Linster, is on. Cal Racing from Hendricks Motorsport.
Yeah, right. maybe Alan will play the car that he will come back the 3-4 last laps to push again, and now to save maybe a little bit the tires and then try to open the gap. I hope that we don't have a safety car for us.
Yeah, looks as though we're just localised yellow still for the moment. They might try and snatch the car out of harm's way. Does the BF Goodrich tyre react well if you push hard and the temperatures come up and then you sort of ease it back again? Will it sort of allow you to push again?
Yes, you can really work with it. If you have in the middle of the race, you say for 3-4 laps, you just play a little bit calm, then you can go back for the last laps to.
And we are going safety car, so we are going full course caution. So Alan Day and Loris Hazemans will be able to resume their battle, but it does mean that Salvador Tinio Arroyo, who had dropped away, he was 5 seconds almost behind the leading pair, 4.7 seconds behind. He's going to be able to catch up again, and that also brings Fred Gabillon back into the mix as well. So under safety car then here, full course caution at Hockenheim as a result of Roman Iniesta having gone off into the gravel trap there at Sudkurve. You can see his car with damage to the front end. It looks so it's maybe just caught the barriers with the back end, but it doesn't look to be a great deal of damage. Romain is absolutely fine, just to confirm that. He walked away from the incident. You can see the top 8 cars in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. Alan Day leads under full course caution here at the Hockenheim ring for round 10 of the 2018 NASCAR Whelen Euro Series. Of course, he is driving the Cal Racing Chevy, the Israeli driver. Second is the Dutch driver for Hendricks Motorsport in his Ford, Loris Hazemans. And third is another one of the Cal Racing cars, that number 56 car, the yellow car with the green numbers down the side of it. Salvador Tinio Arroyo, the Spanish driver. Third is the number 3 RDV competition Toyota Camry, the white and black car of the current championship leader coming into this race, Fred Gabillon. And behind him is the light blue Mishu Motors number 33 Chevy in the hands of Luca Lasser, double former champion, but he lies second in the championship standings, 26 points off the tally of Fred Gabillon coming into this race. Then in 6th place is the Memphis Racing Chevy in the hands of Alexander Graf. We saw that car take a win in the hands of Guillaume de Flandre in the Elite 2 race earlier on today. 7th place is number 73, the Knauf Racing Ford Mustang of the French driver Wilfried Bussena, and completing the top 8 at the moment is number 7, which is the Czech driver Martin Dubek. Just to confirm, leading the race overall is Alan Day. Loris Hazemans in 2nd place is the leading junior category driver, and in 16th position now, the Japanese driver Kenko Miura is just hanging on to the lead of the challenger class from his teammate, actually, which is great to see. Henry Tuamala, the Finnish driver, coming out to join us this weekend, a driver who's been very successful racing V8 engines cars in the likes of V8 Thunder over in Scandinavia, and he's also a Legends champion in Finland as well for the little 5/8 scale motorcycle races that sort of are body shaped like American cars from the 1930s. Legends is a global formula if you want to sort of log online and have a look at that. So for the leading pair, what they really didn't want, Alan Day and Loris Hazemans, was a safety car, but that's what we've got.
Yeah. Yeah, now the field will be back together, and then it's like a new start.
When I first arrived at the circuit, because I've not been to Hockenheim before, from our commentary position, it's a large oval building almost where we can walk around. We get a fantastic view of all different angles of the circuit. I was quite surprised at Sachs Curve. There actually isn't a great deal of runoff, is there?
Yeah, yes, for sure.
So you snatch that break, and it might only just be a very small snatch break, but you can have quite a big consequence. And I think it was probably a very small mistake from Romain Iniesta, but that's put him out of the race. So it looks as though we are going to get no free pass at all. There's no car requiring a free pass. I don't think there's going to be any reordering needed either, and it looks as though we are pretty much almost good to go. So the safety car out there, we should hopefully before too much longer start to see themselves get them into neat 2x2 order. They won't do that just as yet. They're just heading out of the double apex right hand hairpin up towards the left hand corner just in front of the Mercedes Tribune, and it's as they then flick right after that and get themselves onto what is the drag strip here at Hockenheim ring that will hopefully see the lights go out on the safety car, and the cars should then get themselves into neat 2x2 order. Now if it's not this lap, it may well be just the lap after when we get that indication from race control. Right, okay, we've still got some circuit furniture that needs sorting out. So tyres, of course, need replacing. We can get the car out of harm's way, we can get the driver out of harm's way, but again, sensible. we need to make sure that the circuit is safe, that all of the protective barriers are where they need to be, Gilles.
Yes, why the safety always goes first, and they have to do it. If there's another car who will do the same crash and there are no tires, it's a much bigger crash and not good for the safety for the drivers.
No, so that shouldn't take too long. The Hockenheim circuit team well versed with making sure they carry out the speedy repairs. There you can see the tractor in the gravel trap up at Sachskurve, just positioning those tyres back into position. The safety car on the field just weaving their way through currently, and then hopefully that will be out of harm's way by the time we next come around the Sachskurve. You can see there that just how close the edge of the circuit is to the gravel trap. Therefore, that small mistake from Romain Iniesta has cost him quite dear. In terms of drivers that maybe aren't quite as high up as I would have expected in this one, just looking through, Thomas Ferrando and Stinis Longines haven't had great weekends, really, have they? 11th and 12th place for them, but ahead of the 2000 Monster Energy NASCAR champion. But there are a couple of drivers that I think this year have had really difficult years, haven't they, Thomas?
Yes, right. There are some drivers that are very difficult and also bad luck in some races. And yeah, also this race now, like Stinis and Ferrando, they try to do everything to come in front and gain some positions, but they have to battle each other, and so they will be more difficult to gain positions together.
They might be disappointed with the positions, but they'll be happy that they're involved in a great battle, because of course they were in that train of cars that involved the number 70 car in 10th place of Dominic Farnbacher, Stinis Longines, Thomas Ferrando, Bobby Labonte, who's in 13th, and Alex Sedgwick, who's in 14th place. They can sort of get on with their fight again when the safety car comes in, which should be at the end of this lap, is the information that we've just received. So safety car will be in at the end of this lap. So as a driver under safety car, you know, is there a process that you go through every time you see a safety car come out? Does the spotter tell you to do certain things, Gilles?
Yeah, the spotter tell you always when the safety car comes in, then you have to go in double file, and yeah, then you came back in the race, because a safety car always take you a little bit out of the concentration, everything, and then you have to come back as fast as possible.
You can see the huge crowd here just waiting for the racing to get back underway. Of course, these cars also don't have huge amounts of telemetry. There's no telemetry that goes live back to the pit lane. You can download afterwards, but you know, you've not got an engineer sitting at the back of the garage saying, you know, Gilles, just get your tyre temperatures up. You as a driver need to feel that you need to do that.
We have to feel it, and then when they are too hot, we have to do everything to cool them a little bit down. But yeah, it's always the driver who have to do something. It's no other people, no one else who can tell us that heat up the tires a little bit more, cool them down.
No live telemetry at all, yeah. And of course you've got 400 brake horsepower on tap from the 5.7 litre V8 engine. The cars weigh, it's about 1.2 metric tons. That's almost 2,700 pounds as well. So big old heavy cars, big powerful cars, no traction control, no ABS, a stick shift gearbox as well. So there's no sort of semi-automatic gearbox or paddle shift in these cars. It's a proper driver's car. It's NASCAR racing. It's pure racing. We're very shortly about to go green again once more, because the cars are just heading up towards Sachskurve now in neat 2x2 order. Alan Day and Loris Hazemans, of course, on the front row of the grid for this restart. Row 2 of the grid will be the number 56 Cal Racing Chevy of Salvador Tinio Arroyo. He's got the white and black Toyota Camry from Alex Caffey Racing of Fred Gabion, the championship leader, alongside. And in the third row for the restart is the number 33 Michi Motors Mavi supported car of Luca Lasserre, alongside the black and yellow number 77 machine from Memphis Racing, which is the Swedish driver having his first championship season in the NASCAR Whelen Euro Series. That is Alexander Graf. So neat 2x2 order, side by side, nose to tail. Can't drink out of the train of two cars until they've gone over the start finish line, and we're about to get the racing back underway. Lap number 13 gets underway of the scheduled 70. Loris Hazemans has got two wheels on the grass heading up towards turn number 1. There's a bit of bumping and boring midfield, but they all seem to have sorted themselves out. It is going to be Alan Day that's got the best of the restart. Loris Hazemans in second position, and it looks as though Salvador Tinio Arroyo has held position as well. He's there in third place. Fred Gabion, is he going to look for the inside? No, the gap was always going to close. The Frenchman, the championship leader, thinking about the points, tucks himself back into third position with the light blue car of Luca Lasserre there in fourth place. There was a car on the grass further back as we're side by side for the lead of the race. Alan Day's got the all-important inside line heading up towards the double apex right-hander. You see the nose of the car dip as he dives onto the brakes. The Israeli desperate to try and hang on to his lead in the race. Nice and neat and tidy through the hairpin, down the short straight that brings him up towards the Mercedes Tribune. Again, you see the nose of the car dip as Fred Gabion looks to the inside on Salvador Tineo Arroyo.
No.
There's contact between the pair of them. Looks as though the Spaniard now, did he get turned round? Yes, he did get turned round. And Fred Gabion looked for the inside line. He got away with it, but it does mean that he has not gained a place because he was delayed. Luca Lasser, who's second in the championship and just 26 points behind Fred Gabion, has gone through to take up third place.
I hope that Salvatore now has not too much damage on the car and can join the field, but I saw the car moving. Also not good for him.
Fred Gabion's got a puncture.
No.
It looks as though it's a front right puncture for Fred Gabion. We saw a puncture from him yesterday in the race, and thankfully a safety car meant that he got the free pass, and he ultimately came back up through the order to finish in something like 7th position, having been a lap down. But I don't quite think that's going to happen this time through, because they're now on to lap number 15. Alan Day, number 54, still continues to lead again. Loris Hasemans looks one way, looks the other, so covering the move off up towards the braking area for Bernie Eccleston-Curver goes the current champion, of course, in the Elite 1 division. Alan Day still just hanging on to it at the wheel of the Chevy. And as they then work their way down the short straight and in towards the braking area for the right-hand hairpin, there's not a great deal Loris Hasemans can do about it currently. So through the right-hander, the two of them breaking away, having had that incident for 3rd and 4th place. It's the light blue car of Loris Hasemans, of Luca Lasser, who's now there in 3rd place. And Fred Gabion, I think, he has indeed, he's being shown as coming into the pit lane. So the championship leader, double points race, into the pit lane for a change of tyre. That is going to put a big dent in his championship aspirations, Fred Gabion. So yet again, drama for Fred Gabion. He's finished runner-up in his championship on a couple of occasions. All was looking good and would have been a solid season, but it's been a difficult weekend for him at the Hockenheim ring, as Alan Day and Loris Hasemans still continue their battle up towards the conclusion of lap number 4. On lap number 14 they are on at the moment. They will conclude lap number 15 very shortly, so it will show 2 to go. And they head up towards then the first corner through the Ravenel Curve. The two of them still pushing on. Luca Lasser, it will be very happy indeed that he's just sitting there in 3rd position. Here comes Fred Gabion. He's got back out of the pit lane. You can see a bit of damage to the front of his car, but he has gone off the lead lap now, Fred Gabion. So he needs, with only a couple of laps to go, he needs a safety car, doesn't he? He could get the free pass. We could have a green-white checkered, and he could gain places, but he needs a safety car. There's no other option for him, isn't there, Gilles?
There's still 2 laps to go. I don't think that we will see a safety car. I hope so.
Well, I hope so as well. It's nice to go green rather than go green-white checkered. It adds extra spice. Fred Gabion must have run wide there. In fact, he has. Has he got another puncture by the look of things? Has he got another puncture? I'm just having a quick look. There's damage to both sides of the car there. And I think, do you think he has?
Yeah, maybe he goes too right and then he goes into the gravel.
Let's have a quick look. He comes out of that right-hander, and now all looks okay coming out of that right-hander, so maybe a slight mistake possibly on that occasion. We are now on to what is the penultimate lap, and Alan Day was leading by half a second from the number 50 Hendricks Motorsport Ford of Loris Hasemans when they came over the start-finish line. Out of Sachs Curve they'll go. Ignore the car that's 3rd on the camera shots there. That's the white and black car of the championship leader, a lap adrift now, Fred Gabion. It's the light blue car of Luca Lasser that occupies 3rd position. So Alan Day on to what will now be the last lap of the race. We've seen wins, double wins in Valencia for Alan Day. He won at Franciacorta. He was very sadly disqualified from the second of the 2 races in Italy. He won it on the road, but there was a technical issue, just a small technical issue with the car afterwards, so that did not count as a win. And he did win at Tours, his first oval win at the weekend prior to this one. Alan Day desperate now to try and claim a victory in Germany, which he has not done previously, but Loris Hasemans got a very good run going through Bernie Eccleston-Curve, the most important corner that you spoke about, and now Loris Hasemans is drawing himself alongside. Alan Day again will protect that right-hand side of the circuit. That's the inside line for the double apex right-hander, but now the drivers, both desperate to win, Gilles, need to think about this is double points. You need to finish, don't you?
Yeah, the double points. And yesterday they had the same battle, just that Alan Day was in second position, and yeah.
We don't want a replay of it at the final corner like we did yesterday. It was great fun, but very frustrating for one driver, and the other was rather happy. We want two happy drivers who've enjoyed a very good wheel-to-wheel, nose-to-tail battle, and that's exactly what they're doing. In towards the motor-drome section of the circuit once more. Alan Day, number 54, desperate to try and keep his championship hopes alive and get them really back on track following that 15th place finish yesterday, having been second at the final corner until he made that small mistake. It's this part of the circuit that they're coming up to now where the mistake was made yesterday. Alan Day is neat and tidy. Loris Hazemans is thinking about the points as well. Round through Sudkurva for the final time. Up towards the checkered flag. It's going to be a first win in Germany for Alan Day. He comes over the start-finish line and claims his 5th win of the season. Loris Hazemans will finish in 2nd place and is the leading junior category driver home. It's the number 33 Michu Motors car of Luca Lasserre that finishes in 3rd position, and it will be the number 7 machine of Martin Dubeck who finishes in 4th place. Gianmarco Ercoli comes through in 5th place, and completing the top 6 is Tomo Ferrando, who made really good progress after the safety car. We didn't pick up on that, but the number 37 Knauf Ford, 6th place for Tomo.
Yes, right. Great job for Tomo.
And we wish Tomo all the very best next weekend when he heads over to the K&M Pro Series East race in New Hampshire. And, well, 3 reasons why he's going over there. Firstly, prize for winning the Elite 2 Championship in 2017. Secondly, part of the driver exchange program that exists within NASCAR. So Tomo's going over there, and for Zolder, we'll, I think, have somebody coming over to join us from America in Zolder. And also, invitation from the circuit as well. We've got drivers going out to New Hampshire to race in that K&M Pro Series from the NASCAR Series in Mexico, from the Pinty Series in Canada, and from the Euro NASCAR Series as well. So bringing all of the NASCAR family together, all on the same grid at New Hampshire next weekend. So we wish Tom all the very best with that one. One thing also to confirm is that the driver who was home at the top of the standings in the Challenger category is the number 2 car in the hands of Kenko Miura. So the Japanese driver will be hugely pleased with that, will Kenko Miura. And I think that's only his 2nd win in that category all season. He took a win at Brands Hatch, but this is now just his 2nd win in that. So Alan Day, sensible driving from Alan Day, sensible driving from Loris Hazemans, and that means that we're on for probably a 4-way battle when we go to Zolder for the championship.
Yes. 4 guys who can go for Zolder. That will be crazy for all the fans out there. Don't miss Zolder.
And I know you'll be watching. Absolutely, I know you'll be watching there at Zolder, and because you'll be biting your nails. Understandably, you won't be impartial. You'll want you'll want Alan Day to win it because he's racing for the same team as you.
For sure, yeah. I hope that we will have a yellow car who wins the championship.
Let's just guide you then through the order as you see it there on your screens. Number 54, Alan Day, claiming the win. 2nd was number 50, which is Loris Hazemans. And 3rd was Luca Lasserre. 4th place goes the way of Martin Dubeck. 5th place, Gianmarco Ercoli. Completing the top 6 was Tomo Ferrando. Dominic Farnbacher was the first of the German drivers home at his home NASCAR Grand Prix in 7th place. Stinis Longines was in 8th place. And the British driver, Alex Sedgwick, finished in 9th, with Wilfried Busenna completing the top 10. 11th was Francisco Cini, ahead of the leading Challenger Trophy winner Kenko Miura, who was in 12th place. Henry Tuomala finished in 13th place, the Finnish driver, ahead of his fellow Scandinavian Alexander Graf, who had problems. I think it was his car I saw coming out of turn 2 up towards turn 3 on the grass, and that's what dropped the Swede down through the order. Jerry de Wert finished in 15th place, with Justin Kuntz in 16th. Matthias Hauer at the wheel of the other Cal Racing number 44 car in 17th place. Didier Beck in 18th place, and Mauro Trione was the last of the cars on the lead lap in 19th place. 20th for Fred Gabion, a lap off the lead, and that really means that he is going to have to work his socks off in Zolder if he wants to be the champion and not a runner-up again in this series, which he's been on a couple of occasions. Problems for Bobby Labonte late on also dropped him down through the order. He finished in 21st position. So we can see in victory lane is Alan Day. He will very shortly get out of the car and celebrate. Do you need to go down to victory lane and celebrate with your team?
For sure, yes, I will go. I will go down.
We will let you do that now, Gilles.
Thanks.
Thanks for joining us in the commentary box. Go and celebrate with your team.
Thank you.
So thanks to Gilles Linster for joining us in the commentary box. We'll let him scoot down towards victory lane and enjoy the celebrations with the team. Safe journey home, Gilles, and we'll see you at Zolder. That's where we will pick up on the action very shortly. Alan Day grabbing a very well-earned drink. Well, after the disappointment, the bitter disappointment of yesterday. So I spoke to him in the media centre earlier on. He was very matter-of-fact about it. He said, I don't usually make mistakes. I don't know what happened. I don't know what I was thinking. It was one mistake. And I said, well, nothing you can do, Alan. He said, I will learn from it. I will learn from it. And the best thing you can do is put it right the following day. So Alan Day stands on the top of his car, the number 54 Cal Racing machine that has propelled him to a victory. And that will be, as you can see on his face, a huge, huge, huge relief. I don't think it's joy, it's just relief and nothing other that he has got his championship battle absolutely back on track, and the Cal Racing team are ready there to support him and congratulate him on what was a hard-fought victory, because Loris Hasemans really pushed him hard once that safety car had come out, and even before it had come out, where he's managed to catch the gap, and no longer did he have his teammate Salvador Tinio Arroyo to act as rear gunner. The gap was brought down on pure pace by Loris Hasemans, who pushed the current champion, and Hasemans desperate for his second win, having claimed to win yesterday in Elite 1, but Alan Day desperate to try and make amends for that mistake yesterday. So there you can see the celebrations, the congratulations down at Victory Lane as part of American Fan Fest here at Hockenheim Ring. And, well, we will, on social media, if you follow us on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, we'll be gauging some reaction from the drivers of our particular categories. We will grab a quick interview with Alan Day very shortly after the podium presentations and post that on social media, on Facebook, on Twitter and on Instagram, probably within an hour and a half after this race has been concluded now. And we will grab also a quick word with Loris Hasemans there, who's in the orange overalls, just also taking a well-earned drink of water. Loris, who finished second in the race but was the leading junior category driver home. And we'll also grab a quick word with Kenko Miura, who was the winner of the Challenger Trophy for just the second time this weekend. So there is the fantastic Baden-Württemberg Centre, which is our commentary position. We're up on the top floor of that one. The glass windows that you can see towards the left-hand side of your screen afford us a wonderful view over the fantastic Hockenheim circuit, which, as we say, is absolutely steeped in enormous history here. Of course, the original configuration, long gone, the configuration which most of us remember from the 1970s, 80s and 90s, the long circuit that went out into the forest, and with the changes bringing in the chicanes to try and slow what was a very old traditional circuit down. Also now very sadly gone, as well as plans for the wholesale revision of this circuit were announced back in 1999, and construction work started right the way back in 2002 to bring it to this more modern configuration that we'll see. Alan Day is down there in Victory Lane. Let's have a quick chat to our race winner.
Alan Day, what a crazy weekend here at Hockenheim Ring. How do you feel after winning the semi-final two?
It's a bittersweet feeling, because after what happened yesterday with my mistake, which I'm sorry for my team and everybody. I got a big hit in the championship, but I don't do the same mistake twice. And yeah, today I knew that it's not gonna be easy. To be honest, I'm pretty sick of winning races just from defending from others, but I knew he had a great engine and he will catch me every time in the straight line. And yeah, it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy, but it was a good fight in the end. Good fight. Thanks.
What can we expect for the finals at Zolder?
I hope the same as my first year, which I got double wins. So we'll try harder.
All right, thank you very much. Congratulations. We're going back to Mark.
So great to hear from Alan Day. You can see that he's absolutely delighted and relieved with that win, and it's always great to gauge some reaction from these drivers that, in the case of Alan Day, was probably a little bit concerned 24 hours ago as to what his overall championship title standings and aspirations looked like. But yeah, 24 hours later, big smiles on the reigning champion's face, and it really means we have got set up for the finals at Zolder, the American Festival NASCAR finals that took place at Zolder in Belgium on the 20th and 21st of October. A four-way battle. The likes of Fred Gabion, Luca Lesser, Alan Day and Loris Hasemans will be going bumper to bumper and wheel to wheel to see as to who might possibly be crowned our 2018 NASCAR Whelen Euro Series champion. And well, you can join us for all of that over the weekend of the 20th and 21st of October. Don't forget, reaction coming up on social media very shortly from our race winner, from Loris Hasemans, who finished in second place and secured that junior category win, and from Kenko Miura as well. It's been a great weekend here at the Hockenheim ring. Thanks for joining us wherever you've been watching. Let's have a quick look at some of the prospects that we've got ahead of us as we head towards Zolder. From myself, Mark Werrell, goodbye.
Zolder in Belgium will host the finals of the 2018 NASCAR Whelen Euro Series over the weekend of the 20th and 21st of October. The fans flock to see some wheel-to-wheel action in the finals in 2017. With double championship points available, there'll be plenty of action on track. Who will follow in the footsteps of 2017 champions Tomo Ferrando and Alan Day, and who will lift the championship trophy?